this day and age, there's so much data that's out there, whether you're an elementary or a secondary principal. There's much more data than we've ever had at our fingertips. And with my current job, I'm in charge of our district's data analysis program. And when I work with our principals, what we focus on is what are the essentials? What are the things that you need to be looking for and looking at with your teachers that will maximize the return on the investment? And the time that we have for this is so limited, even in a normal year, that that it's the administrator's job to go through all of the data and pull what are the most essential things that teachers need to know to help kids get better. And you know, I've been in administration for 18 years, and I have never improved instruction by looking at standard deviation. And for some of my statistician friends out there, that comment drives people crazy sometimes. But that's not what a teacher is looking for when he or she is trying to help kids get better and trying to improve their own instructional practices. So as far as from just an efficacy standpoint and from a time management standpoint, you've just got to focus on what matters most. And that is, what have I taught the kids? How did they perform on this external assessment? And what did the trend data show me about individual student performance and group performance? And how can I use that to make changes? But it's the administrator's job to sift through all that so that he or she can give the teachers the most efficient data and help them to use that to improve instructional practice. We have a structure here where after we give each assessment, we have timelines where principals have to meet. You know, we assess on these days. You know, you do your data analysis by these days. You meet with your teachers by these days. And what I do is I schedule that out. Back to this whole time management piece. We set those dates early, whether it's a principal working with staff or whether it's me at the district level working with the principals. They know all those dates before the school year starts. It's a very structured system. And for each of those data meetings, I provide them with guiding questions. And those guiding questions are basically, you know, what skills did I teach before this assessment? How did they perform? What do I need to do to go back to address any deficiencies that I found? And then what does this show me about skills I haven't taught yet? Something as a building leader, you have to take the main role in helping your teachers see that. The attitudes towards assessment have gotten better over the last few years, but teacher attitude towards assessment will always be tied to how the data is processed. And they need that administrative help. They need that building leader to be the instructional leader and say, okay, guys, we're going to go through this together. Let's look at what you've taught. Let's see how we can use that to go back and remediate. What have you not taught? How can that help us plan? Because if you just throw them cold numbers, then that's going to waste their time, and you've wasted instructional time basically. So as the building leader, you've got to take the lead on interpreting that data and giving them concrete things that they can hold on to help them improve in instruction. Because the worst thing we can do to teachers, especially in what we're dealing with this year, is feel like their time is being wasted by something meaningless. Assessment is only as good as how the data is used afterwards. If you're a building leader, you know, the things that we ask building leaders to do now versus even 10 years ago is so much more different, right? And the thing is, we have asked them to do so much more, but not a lot has gone away from what they have to do. So again, you have to prioritize. And when I first became a principal, I realized that if it was important to me, I would find time to do it. And whether that was visiting classrooms or looking at data, whatever that instructional leadership piece. And so you have to be intentional about scheduling it. Like in a larger district, you know, I give principals the schedule. Here's when we're going to test. Here's when you work. Here's when you need to have your data meetings. So I would encourage, if you're in a large, maybe not a 7A school, but 5, 6, 7A, if you work at the district level, that's a great thing you can do for your principals is to help them schedule that. I know our principals are very appreciative with all the things they have to do internally to just keep their building running. No one likes to be micromanaged, but we do like assistance. And so if I can give them at the beginning of the year, guys, here's your schedule, here's when the reports are going to be available, here's here's your target date to have your data meetings done. That helps them, when they're looking at their building schedule, to think, okay, here's the target I'm trying to reach. So how can I structure my time to meet that expectation? And then if you're a smaller district where the building principal is solely in charge of that, I would encourage that early in the year you go ahead and set that schedule and set those expectations. It's not so much that the teachers know what's coming, is that you can hold yourself accountable for that. When I moved into this position, and when we started the new ESSA, the new school index and new accountability system, we had 2 elementary schools that were C schools. And through this, using this process over the last couple of years, I guess testing in 17, testing in 18 and testing in 19. We didn't get to test this spring, but one of those schools is now an A school, and one of those schools is now a solid B school. And it was just simply assisting those building leaders, which they're good principals and they have good teachers, but their lack of, they were struggling to find a focus with how to use data to improve instruction. And really, there was no magic wand. We just put some common sense structure behind it and used everybody's time wisely so they could focus on what was most important in the classroom.